Hi, this is Stefan Bader with the League of Women Voters of Concord Carlisle. Voters in Concord will be going to the polls 4 times this year, and that may be a little bit confusing, so we are here to talk to Concord's town clerk, Kari Mayatari, about the election procedures for 2020. Let's go talk to her now. Hi, Kari.
Hi, Stefan.
So, what can you tell us about the 2020 elections here in Concord?
Well, we have a busy 2020 coming up with elections. We have the presidential primary scheduled for March 3rd, where the 4 parties in Massachusetts will be deciding on presidential preference, state committee, man and woman, and town committee. Currently, we have the Democrat, Republican, Green Rainbow, and Libertarian parties. The voter registration deadline for the presidential primary is Wednesday, February 12th at 8 p.m. And early voting will be happening from February 24th through the 28th between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30, which are normal business hours at the townhouse. And then we'll have the town election on March 31st. That voter registration deadline is Wednesday, March 11th. There will be no early voting for that election. Then in the fall, on September 1st, we have a state primary. That voter registration deadline is Wednesday, August 12th. Again, there will be no early voting for that. And then we have, of course, the presidential election on November 3rd. That voter registration deadline is Wednesday, October 14th. And early voting will be for the 2 weeks leading up to the presidential election.
Wow, that is a lot of voting.
It's a lot.
Now, how would a Concord resident get themselves registered to vote if they're not already registered to vote?
Well, there are several ways. The easiest way, of course, is online voter registration through the Secretary of State's website. You can also come to the town clerk's office and register to vote in person, or you can register to vote by mail. You can actually also register to vote at the Registry of Motor Vehicles. So there are lots of ways to do that. And then once you're a registered voter, on Election Day, you will go to your voting precinct, and at the check-in table, you'll give your address and your name, and then you'll receive a ballot. You'll go to the booth, the voting booth, and then you'll mark your ballot. Now, it's important to note, you'll want to fill in the oval next to the candidate's name completely. And then after you voted, you go to the checkout table, and you again provide your address and name, and then you cast your ballot, and you finish the voting process. It's that simple.
That sounds pretty simple.
Yes.
Of course, you have to get to the right place, and there are 4 or 5 places to vote in Concord. How does that work?
There are 5 polling locations. Once you've registered to vote, you get a notice by mail, an acknowledgement notice, indicating which polling place. So you could, if you're in Precinct 1, you would vote at 141 Keyes Road, which is where the Planning and Land Management Building is. If you're in Precincts 2 or 3, then you would vote at the Harvey Wheeler Community Center in West Concord. If you're in Precinct 4, then you would vote at the Ripley School. And if you're in Precinct 5, then you would vote at the Hunt Gymnasium.
I think people can find their ways to those buildings. I hope so. Now, what about IDs? Do people need an ID to go vote in Concord?
That's a great question, Stefan. Generally, an ID is not required to go vote at the polls, as long as you're an active voter. If you registered to vote by mail, it's your first time voting in the state, then you will be asked to show ID, because that's a way of confirming that the name and address really belong to a real person. When you need to show ID, it can be a driver's license, but doesn't have to be. It can be something as simple as a car registration or a prescription. It's something official showing your name and address as it appears on the voter list.
One more wrinkle. What if someone needs an absentee ballot, or they won't be
yes.
in town on Election Day?
Right. So if you're not in town between the hours of 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., which can be a normal occurrence for commuters on that particular Tuesday, then you're entitled to vote absentee. There are a number of different reasons that might prescribe your needing an absentee ballot. For absentee voting, we just need to get a request from you with your signature indicating your name and your address, your voting address. Once we get that request with a signature, we can get an emailed request as long as we have a signature that has, people use their smartphones to take a picture of the request and then they email it to us. We will send out the absentee ballot.
So I think that covers the questions about the elections and being registered to vote. I also heard a rumor that you were looking for people to help out the election workers at the polls.
We absolutely are looking for election workers. We are always looking for election workers. There's an election officer application. You can come to the town clerk's office, or you can use the fillable form that's online on the town clerk's webpage.
Well, I've done it, and it's fun. I think that's all the questions that I have at the moment for you, Kari, and I want to thank you for your time and participation in this video.
My pleasure. And Stefan, if you ever have any other questions, please just call us. We're always happy to answer.
The League of Women Voters will be sponsoring a candidate forum on March 15th for the Concord Town election, which will be Tuesday, March 31st. That candidate forum and this video program have been sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Concord Carlisle. The League is a nonpartisan political organization that encourages informed and active participation in government. The League works to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and the League influences public policy through education and advocacy. So, stay informed and go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote.
Please, go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote!